Welcome to the Generational Wealth Podcast. Guys, over 1 million people made $1 million last year. In today's show, I want to show you how they did it. Most importantly, I'm going to show you how you can do it too. So do me a favor and smash that like button. Guys, I want to tell you about one of the best days of my life. It was absolutely crazy. Last year was such a crazy year, and I wish I could say that I had more days like this. There's a lot of craziness going on in the world. I'm hoping to have another great day very soon because my baby is due tomorrow. Y'all pray for me. So anyway, last year is crazy. I'm ripping, I'm running, I'm working hard. And as you knew, the housing market was out of control. But I said that I wanted to get a property. I wanted to make sure that I was able to secure a space before my son came and before the housing market got that much more expensive. So I went through the process of looking at homes, driving from city to cities, trying to find new properties. And I finally found a place that I wanted to go with, and it was the worst process in the world. It wasn't on the builders. It was on the lenders. I had to go through multiple underwritings, guys, all because of what was going on within the market. Now, without going into all the details, it took a lot of stress out of me, guys. It took a lot of work and a lot of energy. But thankfully, by the grace of God, I was finally able to close. And do y'all want to know something so crazy? Days leading up to the closing, I realized that in getting this new property, my net worth would finally be over $1 million. The amount of assets that I would own and control would be over $1 million. And I said, wow, this is so crazy. I can't believe it. I've been telling people for so long, the first million is the hardest. This is one of those things that people always talk about, but it seems like very few people live. By the age of 34, I had made my first $1 million in real estate. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you guys is because I was one of the 1 million people that made $1 million. I thought that everybody else was just trying to figure out life, but it turns out there were a lot of people just like me. So I feel pretty qualified to share this lesson with you because I'm going to walk you through the process of how I got there. And you're going to see some patterns along the way. So shout out to all of you guys that are on. Please make sure that you leave me a comment. Let me know your name and where you're from. Shout out Cecil. So good to see you on. As always, for everybody else, please do me a favor and smash that like button because today I'm going to reveal how 1 million people made over $1 million last year. Guys, we keep talking about the market is so crazy, economic turmoil, and the recession. But there were world records set by the number of people that came up. I want to show you guys what happened. So shout out to everybody that's on, and shout out to all of y'all that have checked out my free webinar on the 3 keys to financial freedom. If you guys have not checked this out yet, you are sleeping on something special. Guys, this is a totally free masterclass that I've put together. I show you in this webinar how I paid off over $95,000 in student loans 2 years after graduating from college. I show you guys how I retired from corporate America at 26 and went on to become a best-selling author owning my own company. So if you guys want the gems on how to create generational wealth, you need to check that out. But most importantly, the reason why I wanted to set up this free masterclass outside of this is because I wanted to have a dedicated session to show you how to stop trading time for money. There's so many people around the world that are constantly working themselves into the ground for every dollar that they make. So if you want to know how to set up passive streams of income, how to have more than one source of revenue, you need to check out this webinar because it's all about how you can make more money without being on a fixed salary. So for all of my generational wealth folks that's on this generational wealth podcast, please make sure that you check out that webinar. I'm putting the link below. Y'all can see it in the comment section. Listen, I'm telling y'all, man, if y'all don't check that out, you are definitely missing out on one of the most important lessons of this year. This is totally free. All you got to do is click the link and go ahead and get started. Now, y'all know I always tell you guys about the importance of business when it comes to wealth creation. We're going to talk about that a lot more in this show because y'all know there's very specific things that 1 million people did to make $1 million over the last 12 months. One of the biggest keys to wealth creation is business ownership. So if you're one of the people that's been listening to my podcast who actually decides to go off and start your own business, I want to support you in that process. And that's the reason why I'm going to feature your business on my channel. All you have to do is let me know. All you got to do is leave me a comment below. Tell me who you are, what your business is about, and I will give your business promo on this platform for free. Guys, it is so important that we start to create new streams of revenue in this ever expanding economy. Things are becoming more expensive by the minute, so it's time for us to level up. So if y'all want to start a business, just know I'm in your corner. And as always, I gotta give a shout out to the sponsors of this podcast. I know y'all are here because y'all want the content, but I've got to acknowledge the people that make the content possible. If it were not for these people, there would be no way I could do this show the way that I do. So I want to give a big shout out to my brother Yasha Allah. I want to give a big shout out to sponsors like Akaman, Lyra Texan, LA for Life. Thank you to all of you to help keep this show going. I want to give a big shout out to my sis Ariel. I ain't seen Ariel on in a minute, but I know Ariel is busy out here investing and making things happen. Shout out to my brother Juice. Thank you to everyone who supports the channel. Now, some of you guys may be asking, well, what's a sponsor? A sponsor is someone who contributes to keeping this platform on air. Whenever you make a donation after receiving value from the show, I always publicly recognize you to thank you for being an official sponsor of this podcast. So if you want to donate and become a sponsor, please do me a favor by tapping the dollar icon directly below the live chat box. You don't have to give $1 trillion, but your donations go a very long way. Guys, I don't know if y'all know this, but I bought a brand new system just to do these shows. Hopefully y'all see me and the streams look a little bit smoother now. I don't know, some of y'all have noticed I got this little desk behind me. I got a whole new setup and I'm trying to make this show better and better, but I cannot do this without your support. So if you love this channel and you love where it's going, please do me a favor and donate by tapping the dollar icon directly below. If you want to donate through Cash App or PayPal, the information is at the bottom of the screen. And even if you're watching this after the live broadcast is over, you can still donate just by clicking the links in the description below. Now, let's talk about it. Last year, over 1 million people made $1 million. Can y'all believe that? You know, there's all this talk about, oh man, everybody's losing, everybody's going broke, nobody has jobs. And yet, in the midst of all of that, last year, over 1 million people made over $1 million. So, how can we complain that there's not opportunity? I'm talking to you right now because you represent our culture. How is it that all of these people throughout America are making a killing, but yet we're still making excuses on why we can't get ahead? Guys, I'm one of them. Young black man from South Central Los Angeles. I own over $1 million worth of real estate, guys, at age 34. So if I could do it while having been homeless, so can you. I'm trying to show you guys all of the keys to success. And I want to start off by reviewing this article because I want y'all to notice how CNBC covered the massive influx of people who started to create wealth. Some of you guys might have had a strong year in 2021. But if you're not among the 1 million people that made $1 million, that's okay. Because now you're going to tune into this podcast and you're going to learn how you can be up next. Let's check this out. CNBC says 1 million new millionaires were created in the US last year. Guys, this ain't even talking about the entire world. This is just talking about the United States of America. You know, it may not be perfect, but it's a hell of a lot better than it was for us 100 years ago. So we've got to focus on how we can seize the moment and protect our houses. We got to see how we can create generational wealth for years to come. A lot of people are out here winning, in case you didn't know. 1 million new millionaires were created in the United States last year. And the richest got richer, report says. Now, there's some key points that we're going to go into in this article. So I'm going to just hop right in. Y'all know I usually don't read the entire article, but this one is special. So make sure that you smash that like button. If you're just coming on, I'm going to show you guys how 1 million people made over $1 million last year and what that means for you. It says the roaring stock market and crypto gains created more than 1 million new millionaires in the US last year, according to a new report. The number of Americans with $1 million or more in investable assets surged to a record 14.6 million in 2021. Now, see, this is where we got to start tapping into mindset. Do you really think that 14 million people work harder than you? Do you think that they're any more special than you? Do you think that they're any more talented? I'm trying to show you guys, if 14.6 million people had $1 million, why not you if you want to create generational wealth? See, when you come to this channel, you don't just come for the tactics. On top of all of the steps that you need to take to make $1 million, you also need to have the mind of a millionaire. 80% of all millionaires are self-made first generation. That can be you. And guys, if 14 million other people did it, why not yourself? They're no smarter. They don't work any harder. A lot of them just work smarter than you. And now you need to know how to get in the game. The number of Americans with $1 million or more in investable assets surged to a record 14.6 million in 2021. Wait a minute. You mean this amount surged even when there were so many people that were out of work? There were so many people afraid about what was going on during the pandemic. Amidst all of the fear mongering that was portrayed on the media, you know what they didn't tell you? While everybody was selling fear, there were 1 million people who came up. I just want you to be one of them. And I'm crazy enough to believe that you can. The number of Americans with $1 million or more in investable assets surged to a record 14.6 million in 2021, up from 13.3 million in 2020, according to a report from wealth research firm the Spectrum Group. It says the growth rate of over 10% was the strongest in years, boosted by trillions of dollars in wealth created by the stock market, crypto, and other assets. Now, guys, I'm holding back a lot of excitement right now because y'all know I want to go all the way in. I want to talk about this article and how it applies to the things that I tell you. But I'm going to just glaze over it for now. You can pull this out yourself, but just know the minute I get done talking about this article, I'm going in. Don't think I'm going to sit up and go into all this detail and not tell y'all that this article represents everything that I've been telling you from the time I've started this channel. From the time I've been doing shows, I've been saying this over and over and over again. And now you're going to see the fruits of it, of how 1 million people, just by applying the same steps that I share with you today, went off and made $1 million from nothing. It says the growth rate of over 10% was the strongest in years, boosted by trillions of dollars in wealth created by the stock market, crypto, and other assets. It was the strongest year ever for millionaire creation in all segments. Guys, do y'all hear me? This is the importance of timing. It was the strongest year ever for millionaire creation in all segments. I got a question for you. During this record high year, where more people became millionaires than ever before, what were you doing at that time? The people that you surround yourself with, because you're the average of the top 5 people that you spend most of your time with, what type of time were they on? Was their mind on leveling up and creating generational wealth? Or was it everybody's broke, the system is rigged, you can't be wealthy unless you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth? What was the environment that you had around you while everybody else was winning? It was the strongest year ever for millionaire creation in all segments. And let me tell you something. That includes Black people, white people, Asian people, Hispanics. They were all included in this millionaire game. The wealth surge was the strongest at the top. The number of Americans worth $25 million or more surged by 18%. There are now a record 252,000 Americans worth $25 million or more, up from $214,000 in 2020. Now, guys, let's be clear. I'm not saying that money is everything, but the reason why we have this Generational Wealth podcast is because money gives you access to the options for the life that you want to live. If you want to be able to help your family and friends, money will give you that option. If you want to be able to travel and see the world, money will give you that opportunity. Jay-Z said this: I can't help the poor if I'm one of them. So I got rich and gave back to me. That's the win-win. If the goal is for us to enhance our culture, how are we ever going to do it if we are financially illiterate? We need to have resources to change the game. And that's why it's so important for us to get this down. Let me take a quick pause. Let me see what type of time y'all are on in this comment section. Y'all are lucky I don't got my sound effects on today. I'm going to just point that out because y'all know I would be putting the cricket sound effects on right now. Whenever I do these shows, I don't want it to be silence. I want y'all commenting. I want y'all's giving me y'all's thoughts. What are y'all's thoughts on 1 million people making $1 million last year? Shout out to Video for Views. Thank you for the comment. Videos to Views said, big up Uzziah. Big up to you. Please make sure that y'all smash that like button. Please make sure that y'all donate. Now we're talking about how so many people changed their lives simply by applying the information that I share with you on a day-to-day basis. I'm going to let you see it with your own eyes. It says the wealth surge was strongest at the top, meaning the top 1% walked away with the biggest victories, as we expected. The number of Americans worth $25 million or more surged by 18%. There are now a record 252,000 Americans worth $25 million or more, up from 214,000 in 2020. By contrast, the number of so-called mass affluent investors, or those with between $100,000 and $1 million, grew by about 2%. Wealth rises to the top. The stock market was by far the largest engine of wealth creation for millionaires and the wealthy in 2021. The S&P 500, wait a minute. Oh, y'all lucky I can't get these damn sound effects working. Y'all lucky, y'all lucky, y'all lucky. My computer was tripping and I could not hit these buttons, man. I just said to hell with it. I'm going to just get on the show and just talk my talk. Oh, I would be going off on y'all right now with these sound effects. What was the number one investment I was telling y'all to invest in last year? For anybody that has been watching my podcast for an extended period of time, what was the number one investment in the stock market I was telling y'all? I've been telling y'all about the S&P 500 and how the stock market has made more millionaires than any other industry. See, y'all get so caught up in real estate, real estate, real estate. I'm a real estate investor myself that owns over $1 million in real estate assets. But even I will tell you, so many people build wealth through the stocks. This is the reason why you'll see so many people that'll be at their 9-to-5 jobs, got a 401k, IRA. These are tax deferred avenues to wealth creation. Had you simply taken the information that came off of these podcasts and applied it over the last 12 months, you would have received a 27% return on your investment. But I'm going to move on. It says the S&P 500 gained 27% last year, while the NASDAQ was up 21%. The wealthiest 1% of Americans gained over $3 trillion in stock market wealth in 2021, according to Federal Reserve data. Do y'all see this? This is not even talking about the real estate market. It's not talking about the crypto market. In the stock market, the wealthiest 1% of Americans, the wealthy are in the stock market, guys. And they collectively gained over $3 trillion last year. It says crypto and other assets such as NFTs, collectibles, and real estate also gained in value, according to the wealth of the wealthy. The total market cap of crypto assets, despite wild swings in prices, gained $1.5 trillion last year to over $2.3 trillion, according to CoinGecko. I'm going to try to race through the rest of this. I just can't hold myself back. If you're not looking at this article and just thinking, man, what was I doing? I don't know what else to tell you. Now, if you were applying the things that I've been going over, kudos to you. But if you were on the fence, now you know. Everybody was riding the money train last year, while all of the skeptics stayed in the same place during the highest volume of wealth transferred in America. That should tell you what type of person you want to be. Values of private equity and venture capital investments also surged. There were so many markets that took off. Since the wealthy can afford to put more of their money in investments, especially those with the highest risks and rewards, ultra millionaires benefited more than the mass affluent in 2021. The wealthy have the greatest exposure to the broadest investments, Wolper said. It wasn't just traditional liquid markets that did well last year. It was also alternative investments, real estate investments, and cryptocurrency. The wealth gains at the top also widened the wealth gap in the US. The share of wealth held by the top 1% grew to a record 32% last year, according to the Fed. Wealth experts say it's unlikely that last year's gains will be sustained in 2022. Wait a minute. Is this article saying that if you didn't take action in 2021, you missed out? Is the article saying that if you waited, you might have missed out on certain returns that won't come this year? This is the reason why timing matters. This is the reason why you cannot put off tomorrow what you can afford to do today. Guys, we're living in the present. Tomorrow ain't on the calendar. There's no such thing as tomorrow. You got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There's no someday. There's no tomorrow. We take action in the now. So it says, wealth experts say it's unlikely that last year's gains will be sustained in 2022. And let me say something on this, guys. You know, I'm sure that you've probably tuned in to different broadcasts about personal finance. And the person talking is always telling you about how wealthy people are long-term visionaries. They think 5, 10, 15 years down the line. And some of you interpret that to mean I can wait until tomorrow to begin to execute. Long-term planning doesn't mean wait until the long term to get started. Long-term planning means you connect the dots starting today. You know where you want to be at in 5 years. And you ask yourself, what do I need to be doing now in order to get to where I want to be 5 years down the line? This is the reason why y'all got to check out that free webinar. In that webinar, I outline the type of moves that you need to be making right now, today, in order to reach your goals of being a wealthy person within 5, 10, 15 years' time. Wealth experts say it's unlikely that last year's gains will be sustained in 2022. That doesn't mean it's the end of the world, but that should mean you become more inspired to get started. Given soaring inflation, rising interest rates, and a potential economic slowdown, stock market declines have already started trimming the paper fortunes of investors. The NASDAQ is down 14.5% for the year, while the S&P is down 8.4%. Every day changes, so it's hard to predict where the year will wind up. But the first few months of 2022 have already painted a different picture than 2021. Guys, I'm definitely going to want to cam up and talk about this. Leave me a comment. What do y'all think? Do y'all think that this is all a hoax? That the media is just coming up with fake news? Or do you see how there were so many people whose finances took off just by making the right moves? I'm telling y'all, when I was looking for real estate last year, I was shocked by how many upscale homes were being built. I was saying to myself, man, how do all these people have this money? Like, I'm used to seeing certain neighborhoods have nice homes, and there might be a few places that are really nice, but I'm telling you, neighborhood after neighborhood, house after house, 600,000, 700,000, 800,000 beyond. And it started to make me ask myself, how many wealthy people are in America? How many people are really getting to the money, but we will never know it based upon everything that's talked about in the pandemic? And it was so funny that this article came out, because everything that was shown in this article, it backed up what I was seeing in the real estate market. They were making all of these upscale homes because 1 million people made $1 million last year. So they had the money to spend. Now, guys, rather than spending all day talking about this million people, I'm here to talk about you. I'm here to talk about the moves that you ought to be making if you want to create generational wealth. So that's what we're going to talk about right now. Make sure you smash that like button. If you get value from this segment, please make sure that you sponsor. Whoever is the highest donor of this broadcast will be the official sponsor of the event. So if you want your name tied to this, because this will be a popping show, all you got to do is tap that dollar icon directly below the live chat box. Now, I've already been saying, if you've been watching this podcast, you already know I've been talking about this. I've been talking about the importance of investing in the stock market, investing in the S&P 500 specifically, investing in real estate, crypto, diversifying your assets. But one of the things that I want you to take away from this lesson is, the higher you work your way up, the easier it will be to make money. Think about what the article said. I'm going to bring it back, guys, so that way y'all could see it with your own eyes. In the article, it showed how the people who made the most money were the people that were at the very top, and their wealth took off. Notice this. It says the wealth surge was strongest at the top. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you guys is because some of y'all are getting it out the mud right now. Some of y'all come from the bottom, and you could never imagine yourself getting to the top. But I want to tell you, the most important thing for you to do is build momentum. because you will get to a place that after you've consistently built wealth over time, it's going to grow without you. It's not going to need you to put in 1,000 man hours in order for the money to grow. I'm telling you guys, some of the most rewarding gains that I've made have come from me doing absolutely nothing. Over the past 2 years, I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars in passive wealth creation through owning real estate. And would much rather make money that way than working myself into the ground. The wealth surge was strongest at the top. So all you got to do is continue to level your way up and watch what happens. The number of Americans worth $25 million or more surged by 18%. You got to ask yourself, guys, why such a surge? Why would it be that there would be so many people making such a high amount? Because wealth creation is a snowball effect. It may seem like it's hard for you to rub two nickels together as you get started, but once you begin to go down the right path, that's when it can really take off. Remember what I said before, wealth goes to the top. All you need to do is create the right structure, stay consistent, and over time, you will watch your wealth grow. You kind of want to think about it like this. Let's say that you're starting a business. If you're starting a business, the first thing that you need to be thinking about is making your first sale. I know you guys want to be millionaires and billionaires and all of that, but you need to start. You've got to crawl before you can walk. So instead of being in la la land having fantasies, you need to think, how can I take this product and how can I sell it to one person? You start at 1 and then you get to 10. From 10, you get to 100. From 100, you get to 1,000. From 1,000, you get to 100,000. And from 100,000, you get to $1 million. And once you hit that million, guys, that's where things continue to grow. You got to start to ride the wave. So it says the wealth surge was strongest at the top. The number of Americans worth $25 million or more surged by 18%. There are now a record 252,000 Americans worth $25 million or more, up from 214,000 in 2020. So guys, I just want you to notice that. And also, I took it off too soon. I took it off too soon because y'all needed to catch that other point that came right after it. Notice it said, by contrast, the number of so-called mass affluent investors, or those with between 100,000 and $1 million, grew by about 2%. This is how the rich get richer. This falls in line with what I just said. When you're trying to start something out of nothing, it's not going to be as much as you've already built momentum and now you're just riding the wave. Look at this. Number of people that had 25 million or more surged by 18%. Number of so-called mass affluent investors, or those with between 100,000 and 1 million, grew by 2%. You guys got to understand the nature of money. See, money is a language. And if you don't know how to speak it, you can never have it. And that's the reason why, guys, I always tell you, make sure that you subscribe, turn on your notification bell, because I'm giving out the gems on this channel all for free. Now, the higher you work your way up, the easier it will be for your money to grow at interest. When we look at the number of people worth 25 mil, we can see how the rich get richer. It's a compound effect at play. The number one important thing that you need to do on the road to building wealth is building momentum. Listen to this good. Rather than you obsessing over any particular dollar amount, the most important thing that you can do to create generational wealth for your family is to build momentum, because when you build momentum, your money will work for you. The money will take you to places beyond your goals. Another thing that I want to point out from this article is that people always talk about real estate. But like I told y'all, don't sleep on the stock market. This is the reason why I always talk about diversifying your portfolio. Oftentimes, people talk about divesting your portfolio when it comes to managing risk, but you want to diversify your portfolio because when the booms happen, you don't know what's going to hit. So you could go into the market thinking, oh, okay, it's going to be real estate. You could go into the market and think, man, it's going to be gold. But honestly, you don't know what's going to take off on what level. That's the reason why you need to have your money in different places. And guys, when we talk about how many people became millionaires last year, it's important that you know this. You needed to already be invested in the market in order to make the gains. Did y'all hear what I just said? In order for you to have been one of the 1 million people that made $1 million last year, that means you needed to have already been in the game when the gains were coming. You don't wait until the end of the party to decide to show up. When it comes to your money, you get there early. And there were 1 million Americans last year who already were investing. So that way, whenever the money flowed, they took off. This is the reason why, guys, no matter how much money you have right now, it's the time to get started. You might only have $5 to your name. You should be walking away from this podcast asking, how do I get started? Like I said before, the secret to long-term wealth creation is that you are patient in the long term and impatient in the short. I may have financial goals of where I would want to see myself within the next 10 years, but I'm working hard today as if there's no tomorrow. The problem with most people is that they only know how to do one or the other. Most people only know how to be impatient for the moment, and then they give up when they're not an overnight success. Or people become so patient that they never get started and they never take the time to get off their behinds and change their life. I need you guys to be focused on being extremely impatient in the short term and waiting it out for a better tomorrow. When you learn to balance both, that's when you're going to see more success in your life. That's my word. Diversify, diversify, diversify. Had you diversified into the stock market last year, you would have been one of the winners in the stock market. And do y'all know what's so crazy? Do y'all know the reason why I'm so mad at some of y'all that have been playing the back seat? Because if y'all remember last year, every show I was giving away free stocks. How many of y'all remember that? Leave me a comment. Last year, I had a sponsorship by Webull. Still got it today. I need to keep promoting it. Webull was giving out free stocks to everybody on the show. So even with zero money, you could have just signed up, had free stocks, and you could have seen a return on your investment. And that's the reason why, guys, one thing that I want you to understand, this is really not about money. It's about you having a willingness to get out of your comfort zone and get in the game. Listen, everybody had to learn about cryptocurrency. If you are 20, 30 years old, this is not something that has always been here. Some people just had to sit down and learn, how does this thing work? You got teenagers right now, kids learning how to get into this market. It's not about the money. It's about having the will to win. And the crypto market is one of the easiest avenues that you can get into having little to no money at all. Guys, you ain't got to have Bill Gates' money to invest in crypto. You don't have to have hundreds of thousands of dollars like you feel like you need in real estate. Even in real estate, you don't need a ton of money, but to just make it so easy, you could be invested in cryptocurrency by the end of this broadcast. That's what I'm saying. There's no underwriting process. There's no, oh, wait 30 days and then you'll close. By the time that this podcast is over and I stop bumping my damn gums, you could already have money in the crypto space. But see, are you willing to take the action? And then we wonder why we read all these stories about these teenage millionaires. Meanwhile, adults are driving to work every single day miserable. You've got to be willing to get in the game. And guys, in terms of your mindset, I want you to walk away with this. If you want to create generational wealth, think about the market and not yourself. What I mean by that is, a lot of us, we hold ourselves back in life based upon low self-esteem. Oh man, I'm broke. I come from the hood. I was never supposed to amount to anything. And you are so discouraged that you don't go anywhere. Don't think about yourself. Think about the market. The reason why you want to think about the market is because the market is growing by trillions of dollars. All that means is you've got to put your money in the market. Guys, how many of you guys have heard this saying? A rising tide will raise all boats. You don't have to be the water. You just got to put your boat out there. Just put the boat out there, man. Everything else will work itself out. But there's so many of us, oh, well, I don't know anything about water. Nobody ever taught me. Stop getting in your own way and build the boat. The market is going to lift you up. You don't have to do this all yourself. So what I'm saying is, if we know the stock market grew by trillions of dollars, how much of that was yours if you invested? I know I walked away with return on investment. I know everybody else that was in the S&P 500 like I was over those 12 months walked away with a 27% return. Again, listen to me. The stock market does not look at your investment and say, oh, you're black. I'm going to give you negative 27% because of that, while I give somebody else from another community a 50% ROI. It doesn't work that way. If you owned the stock, whatever Bob made, that's the same thing that Ray made. The same thing that Ray made is the same thing that Enrique made. The market does not care. It only speaks the language of money. So when you start to hold yourself back in life based upon the things that you think that you can't do, focus on the market rather than yourself. And one thing is for certain, we know that this market is going up. So even if you don't believe in yourself like that, just put money in the market and watch the thing take off, okay? So this also proves something else. Investing is a numbers game. Let me check these comments real quick to see where y'all are at, okay? Tia to you asks, Crypto, is it a good time to buy right now? I'm gonna put this out real quick as a disclaimer. I'm not a licensed investment advisor. When y'all come to me, I'm just giving out free game, free entertainment. What you do with this is up to you. I like the crypto market right now because it is still low. You want to buy low and sell high. Shout out to my brother Rick. My brother Rick, I'm going to hit you up very soon, King. I've been ripping and running all over the place. Bear with me. Shout out to everybody that is on. Make sure that you smash that like button and let's get the sponsorships going. Like Videos to Views said, positioning is key. So when you talk about getting going in the crypto market, you don't want to wait for the crypto space to grow by another $1 trillion. You want to be there at the ground floor before the next round of gains are made. Because like I keep saying, you want to put your boat out there and just wait on the market. Don't be mad if it doesn't happen overnight. You're just simply going to put money in the market and watch what happens. Okay. Tia to you says, I appreciate what you're saying. I always research too. I appreciate you too, Tia. Thank you so much for supporting this platform. For those of y'all are on, please make sure that you smash that like button. Listen, y'all ain't got to pay a dime to smash that thumbs up button. But this will help to grow this YouTube channel tremendously. Okay. Now we're talking about why 1 million people made $1 million last year. And if you've been studying my channel, you will see that everything that I've been telling you guys over the past 6 months is the exact recipe that people were following, which is how they became millionaires. So just know, over here, you in good company. Hope you subscribe. Big numbers, small numbers. You have to understand the difference. When you try to create wealth in the stock market or any other arena, you're going to have different outcomes than the people that already come to the table with a lot of money. I want you to think about the markets as the places for you to preserve your wealth. These are growth vehicles. The reason why I'm making a distinction between growth and wealth creation is because wealth creation comes through business. When you set up a business, this is when you are able to make money. You're going to take a proceed of that money and you're going to invest in the markets. Okay. So some of y'all come from different backgrounds. If it made more sense for me to say it this way, you need a place to wash your money. You need a place to rinse it. So you make money from your business, you invest it in real estate. You make money from your business, you invest it in the stock market. You take a proceeds of all your earnings and you put it into the market in hopes that it will grow over time. But if you don't understand how people truly make money in these investment markets, it's going to be hard to make strong gains. What I'm saying is, how many of you guys are familiar with different apps out right now, like Acorns and Robinhood? These apps were created to show the common person that, hey, even with a few dollars invested, you can still have wealth. On some level, that's BS, because the people that make the real money are the people who already had a lot of money to begin with. That's the reason why you saw wealth rise to the top. Remember what I showed you guys in that article. The people that really had a surge of wealth was the people with 25 mil. So you got to understand, there's a certain vehicle that you use when you start at zero, and there's another vehicle that you use when you have 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 or more. You don't go into the stock market saying, oh, okay, I've got 5 cents. I'm going to build wealth. If all you got is 5 cents to bring to the table, you need to find more ways to build income. Okay. So let's talk. Let's talk. Do you guys understand what I'm bringing out right now? Just leave me a comment. I'm telling you guys, when you bring big numbers, you can get big returns. When you bring little numbers, you get little returns. It's the same percentage, but $100,000 with a 27% ROI feels a hell of a lot different than $1 invested with a 27% ROI. How much money you invested dictates the length of your return. So we got to understand how to move like the 1%. You know, you can be like these anomaly figures who, you know, you just donate or invest $50 a month from your paycheck. And that's definitely better than nothing. But the people who build real wealth in America are the people who have mastered exactly what I'm telling you today. Start from where you are, ratchet your way up, but ultimately play the game like the 1%. You don't have to have 1% money to think like the rich. Okay. So, business, real estate, business, stock market. One avenue creates the wealth, another one preserves and grow it. And that's what the elite understand. Now, y'all, I'm looking at all these comments. Thank you all for tapping in with me. Videos to View says, make this be the last year that you ask if it's a good time to do something. That's a fact. If you are not hurt and stung from how much you missed out on last year by riding the fence, I don't know what to tell you. If you don't see that 1 million people came up off of these principles, I honestly don't know what to say. And you're not paying nothing for this. This is 100% free, guys. So why not take the information and apply today? Videos to View said, make this be the last year that you ask if it's a good time to do something. One thing I echo loudly is you must also have an emergency fund. Investing becomes sweeter after. I couldn't agree more. And I'm not surprised that you would be on this broadcast because birds of a feather flock together. What I mean is, I've always been saying the key to investing is getting out of debt and building your emergency fund. The reason why those are the two keys to wealth is because it's easier to build wealth when you don't owe nobody nothing. If you don't owe nobody, you can take all of the money that you get and you can start to pilot, you can start to invest, you can grow, you can give, you can do the things that you want to do with your life. You can travel and take the trips. You can help out a family member in times of need. You can give to that nonprofit that's helping to uplift your movement. But if you don't invest, if you don't get out of debt, there's no way that you can get in the game. So let's talk about this. The reason why your emergency fund is so important is because if you don't have a cushion to help you during hard times, guess where you're going to pull the money from? You will pull the money from a credit card, which is only going to put you back in the debt. Now you're paying somebody else and making somebody else rich instead of you. And when you don't have any money in your emergency fund, guys, some of y'all will tap into your 401k. When you tap into your 401k or your IRA because you have no other emergency savings, this is when you will end up taking out a hardship withdrawal. If you are younger than 59 and a half years old, the IRS is going to tax you at 10% on top of the amount of money that you pulled out. You don't want to find yourself in that situation. Now, some of us fall on hard times, and you got to do what you got to do. We've all been there. We've all experienced hardships. But what I'm saying is, guys, I want you to think about money like a pyramid. I talk about this more in my premier program, 0 to 6 figures. You don't build a house by starting at the 3rd floor. There's levels to this. So if you have not set yourself on a level of having emergency funds, you don't have the foundation to build above you. If the foundation beneath is weak, no matter how much you try to do things on top of that, it's all going to come crashing down. So you could invest $1,000 in the cryptocurrency, but if your car breaks down and you don't have emergency fund to be able to take that money out to fix your car, you're going to then have to pull money out of your investment and potentially more. You got to understand how to play the game. And this is the reason why you have to be impatiently patient. See, some of y'all right now, you want to be all in on Bitcoin now. You want to be all in on real estate now. But if you have $0 in your emergency fund, you're going to get your run cut short. You got to be impatient because you want to be in investing today, but you got to do this, this, and this first. And if you made a rush to do this, and first, like I'm telling you, you would get to investing as quickly as possible. Guys, this is a long game. You look at Warren Buffett, you look at Ray Dalio, you look at George Soros. They will all tell you this is a long game. When you study the habits of the wealthiest people in the world, they're not doing all of this overnight. And a lot of them not even flashing their money. So, guys, we need to figure out what this generational wealth thing is all about. That's what I'm saying. But now, back to these points. And I'm going to open up this panel real quick. I'm going to put up this link for y'all to tap in with me, okay? Because I want to get y'all's feedback on this. 1 million people made $1 million last year for the first time ever. Why not you? What are you going to change in your life so the next time there's time to make history, your name is on that list? Hey, we got access, y'all. We can't blame nobody else for why it's not happening at this point except ourselves. So now, going back to what we're saying, when we talk about how 1 million people made $1 million last year, I told you guys about how you need to understand how the money works. You need to understand the importance of the diversification, getting into multiple assets, because you don't really know what's going to hit. And when we talk about the wealth gap, because that's something that people are really stuck on, don't think about the wealth gap. Just think about what the wealthy do. See, we tend to think about all of those topics because we're looking for an excuse as to why we can't win in the game. If you follow the steps, you'll be on the better side of the wealth gap, just like me. I didn't start this life on the good side of the wealth gap, but good Lord willing, before they throw dirt on me, I'm going to stay on this side. Guys, okay, it's better on this side. I'm telling you. I've seen money and I've been broke, and I'll tell you one thing: I would much rather have it than not. So many divorces happen in America every single day because of money. So many people lose their life in America every single day because of money. Some of y'all are still in the hood right now, finding yourself in all kind of bad situations on the strength of money. And I'm just trying to tell you guys how you can get it the right way. Don't worry about what the wealth gap is talking about. Focus on doing the things that the wealthy do, because there's so many of us that will look at the wealth gap and say, oh, well, see, this is the reason I'll never make it. All you need to do is what the wealthy will do consistently, and soon enough, you will be one of them. Rich and poor begins in the mind. Now, guys, One thing that I also want to say on this before we close this out, know how to protect your money when the economy changes. Did y'all remember that part of the article when they talked about how 2021 was a come up for a lot of people? But then they also said that the Dow and other things are down in 2022. I sold off a lot of my stocks at the end of 2021 because I knew that the economy was about to dip. I was in on all of the gains, having been a shareholder of Tesla, Meta, Nvidia, Zoom, DocuSign, many of the companies that you guys hear about on a day to day. Had investments in a lot of these companies, but I knew that the market overall was going under. I shifted a lot of my money out of the stock market at the end of 2021 and I moved it into real estate because I knew even though the stock market was about to go down after having made a 27% gain in the S&P 500, I knew that the real estate market was still projected to go very high this year. And they're still predicting that there's going to be an 11% increase in housing prices. You got to get yourself to a point where you see where the economy is going and you adjust yourself accordingly. Some of you guys are going to be very intuitive and be good at that game. Others of you, maybe the best thing for you to do is just hold your money knowing that the market will recover. Just because the S&P 500 is down to start off this year, it doesn't mean that it's going to be down forever. And even though I said in the last podcast that a recession is coming, people who build wealth do it during recessions because it gives the opportunity to buy low and sell high. At all times, guys, an opportunity is here. It was here in the midst of the pandemic. It's going to be here in the midst of a recession. Think again about everybody that was crying about how hard life was. Y'all know I'll be tripping over my words. Bear with me. Think about how many people were crying about how hard life was last year. In the midst of all of the craziness, America reached a record number of people that became millionaires. Again, my question to you is this. Is this what your mama is telling you? Is your mama telling you you have opportunities to do something great? Is your father telling it to you? Are your homeboys, your homegirls saying this? Are they talking this type of talk? Are your church leaders saying it? The people that influence your mind, are they helping you think in the mindset of abundance, or are they pushing you back down into scarcity? Some people say everybody's losing, the sky is falling. But yet, amidst all the turmoil, last year there were more millionaires made in America in 1 year's time than at any other time in civilization. The choice is yours. We see 2021. There's going to be a different climate in 2022. Either you're going to know how to shift from year to year in this economy, or you're just going to need to learn how to play the long game, buy low, sell high, or hold yourself in the marketplace and just wait for the market to recover. Okay, guys? So listen, man. Once again, I put the link for y'all to cam up. If you got a lot of value, make sure that you tap that dollar icon directly below. You know, it's amazing to me how people will say, oh, this stuff doesn't work. It's all BS. You know, it sounds good and they're promising pie in the sky. But who actually made money off of it? The million people who applied everything that I've been talking about in this podcast last year, they're the ones that made the money off of it. So all of these doubters and skeptics and critics, where are they? I keep telling y'all, time will tell the truth. You guys are in good company, man. We have so much access to so many resources. Will we make the most of it? So, if you're starting from square one, learn about the different types of investing, learn about how you need to invest in your emergency fund, how you need to set aside at least $1,000 to cover basic emergencies. Learn about how quickly you need to get out of debt. Learn about how to start a business so you can create multiple streams of income. Learn how you can take that business to get past a fixed wage so you can use that money to replace the money that you make from the 9 to 5 if you are willing to get in this game. I can't promise that you make millions, but I can tell you you'll be a lot better off than you are today. So, guys, thank you so much for tapping in with me. Leave me a comment, cam up if you want to cam up. It's definitely been a very important show. If you got a lot of value from this podcast, guys, do me a favor. Please donate. All you got to do is tap that dollar icon directly below. I try to do these shows as often as I can, but I truly cannot do this without your support. If you want to see me make more shows, if you want me to continue to put you on game about where the economy is going, please do your brother a favor. Donate, because your donations, your sponsorships will go a very long way. Now, guys, as many of you know, one of the most important levels as you're building your financial house is having life insurance, because God forbid something happened to you and you're no longer making money from your work. How will your family be able to live? How will your family be able to get by if you can no longer work at your 9 to 5 jobs? Life insurance is one of the most important things that you can do to create generational wealth in your family. And one of the things that I love about generational wealth, guys, is you don't need the wealth already to get there. That might sound crazy, but what I want you to know is that even if you don't make any more than $50,000 a year, if anything happened to you, you could still leave your family hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more. You want to know how the wealthy do it? They do it through life insurance. You want to know how the Rockefellers are still living off of the money of John D. Rockefeller? It's through life insurance. One of the things that we don't do enough in our community is plan for the future with proper insurance. And when I was 25 years old, I had already had a term policy. When I was making around $50,000 a year, I had already had a policy to make $600,000 worth of insurance. I had already had $600,000 worth of insurance to protect my family just in case anything happened. Now, I'm not telling you what specific type of insurance to get, but what I am saying is that if you want to create generational wealth and you want to have a way of being able to protect your family, reach out to me, because I am a licensed insurance advisor. Guys, I took the time to get this license all for you because I got tired of just talking and talking. And now, whenever I do these shows and I talk, now we can get offline and I can sign you up. I can get you the policies that you need to protect your family for generations to come. Thank you so much to my brother, Rodney Lawrence. Man, I wish my sound effects was working today. I'd definitely give you a strong round of applause on the sound effects, but we just gonna keep it authentic. We're gonna keep it natural for right now. Thank you so much, my brother. I've been missing you, man. You've been on my heart. I've been wondering how you've been doing. I've been wondering about your family. I'm happy to see you on, my brother. Thank you so much for the $20 sponsorship. With Rodney making this donation, that does mean that he is the official sponsor of this broadcast. Shout out to Rodney. Well deserved. If any of y'all are looking to donate, now is the time, guys. Okay. Tap the dollar icon directly below. Trust me when I tell you, donations go a really long way. Even if you're watching this podcast after the live is over, you can still donate. All you got to do is tap that dollar icon directly below. We always complain about how we don't have certain positive media outlets, but how much are we invested in the brothers that are out here trying to make it work? If you guys want to protect your houses through life insurance, reach out to me. Okay. Send me an email. I'm a update my email real quick. Almost gave you the wrong address. I'm gonna send you guys my email address so you can reach out to me. Send me an email so we can book a session. Okay. I'm gonna put more into this as time passes by. I'm gonna set up different things so that way I can make the process of you protecting your family through life insurance as easy as possible. But for now, if you're willing and ready to take action to help your family, send me an email. We can sit down and talk. I'll be more than happy to work with you guys. Now is the time to level up. Listen, guys, time is short. We never know what our last day is going to be, but I hope that this message inspired you because there were so many people who made the right moves last year. And guess what? If you make the right moves, you're up next. I love y'all. I thank y'all for tapping in with me as always. For those of you that get a lot of value out of my free content and you decide that you want to take things to the next level, I have an exclusive opportunity for you to get into my 12-month coaching program where I show you how to master your time, money, and energy. This is called your breakthrough year. Okay. This is a program that outlines how the most successful people in the world manage their day. I outline how they're able to get world-class success, how you can start from where you are right now and begin to level up. I've had a lot of clients that have gone through this program and have gotten themselves out of debt, that have started their own businesses, who have made 5-figure salary increases. And again, now is the time for you. And to make this as easy for you as possible, I'm giving you access into this program on a 14-day free trial. So if you want to get started and check it out, I just put the information on the screen. Tap in to join your breakthrough year, guys. Don't forget about that free webinar. Thank you so much for tapping in with me once again. Make sure that you subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Please be your brother's keeper and share this podcast. And hopefully I'll see you guys on the very next show. I love y'all. Y'all pray for me. I got my baby on the way, y'all. The due date is tomorrow. So if for any reason I don't do a show tomorrow, y'all, please forgive me. I got my team working in the background, kind of coming up with some more content. Your boy don't have any real paternity leave planned, but whenever this baby comes, you'll know I've got to be on the scene. All right. Thank you so much for all of y'all's commentary. Much love as always. And I'll see you on the next show. Until next time, keep pushing.